The American camaraderie it just is something else. It just is something that we don't see here. It isn't. I'm sorry, it's the harsh truth for all my neighbors here.
Tornado was anywhere from a half mile to 3/4 mile wide at its widest point.
Wednesday morning, and today it's time to watch the second part of Tornado Alley in Joplin, the tragic video we watched this Sunday. This is part 2, so if you haven't seen part 1, link is below. And today is also my girlfriend's birthday, so join us and join me and wish her happy birthday in the comments as well. I've learned quite a lot since I watched this the first time, you know. I learned that storm chasers are not idiots like I call them, they're heroes. They save people, they alert the law enforcement, and so on and so on. I've also gained like a super curiosity when it comes to tornadoes, as we don't have that here. It's just a rare concept for me to hear about. So this video really sparked some interest, and of course it's a tragic story, but let's get to it. Alright, we're right into it. There we go.
That reports the store at 17 and range line has been hit.
I've got about possibly 30
And if you haven't seen part 1, again, link is below to that video.
people trapped inside the restaurant here.
We were at the gas station, last thing we saw. Beer cooler of a darkened gas station. Oh, the screams are terrifying.
The little kids that were in there, I remember hearing that over the older people, just because it seemed so much more genuinely scared.
We're good.
It kind of settled down for a second, and I think it's over. Right when that happened, then the second part of it hit.
What's the science behind that? Why can it calm down 1 second and then increase again? I'm guessing, I don't know, because what we saw from the tornado storm chaser, the tornado moves around, you know, more than you would think. So maybe it just went around and came back. Ooh, this one sounds worse as well.
The ceiling dropped 3 feet.
The ceiling dropped.
As the walls of the building got blown away, I could look out and just see the sky.
I love everyone, man. Yeah, I love all you guys. We're gonna be okay. I love you. Jesus.
Look at the panic in the voices. Even the guys who are saying I love you, I can still hear the genuine panic in their voices. Of course, you don't know if you're going to survive the night.
When it passed, everyone was kind of just either it had knocked them over, or like I was sitting on top of someone's legs.
Is everyone okay below me? I'm here, I'm okay. All right, I'm trying not to lay on someone.
Somebody's on my back.
Everyone was just in shock because you didn't know whether or not people were hurt at that point.
This is under me.
This is FM 102.9, AM 1310, and we do have Chad, and Chad will be joining us now. We'll check in with him. Good evening, Chad.
Hey, Josh, I am on Rangeline Road.
We were listening to the AM radio station in Joplin.
Oh, these guys were, if you don't know, these guys were watching a baseball game in Kansas. Now they're heading
We
home.
made a quick decision.
No,
A
never mind.
photographer and I hopped in the car and just headed west to Joplin.
Rangeline is flooding. I am plowing through the water right now.
We were just preparing to do normal reporting, and it was just going to be a normal shift.
Oh my, there are people that have got to be injured right now, Josh. There are probably fatalities right now. People are trapped in buildings. There are buildings missing, Josh, that used to be here. They're totally gone.
Once we came in and started seeing the destruction, that's when we started to get a sense of this is bigger than what we anticipated.
Battalion 1, this is Chief 1. Go ahead. I have clearing skies off to the west, so we look to be towards the end of this event.
All right, so now I'm guessing. So now I'm guessing the tornado is over, like they said, and now it's about to. We need to save the people we can save.
You have
That's the thing that's scary, you know. One of my worst nightmares is being stuck under a building, and oof.
a tremendous amount of debris out here in the 2 area. Looks like this is going to be very near the path of the tornado.
We had literally thousands, if not tens of thousands, of 911 calls in the first 24 hours. Most of us are used to tornadoes that move through an area very quickly and then are gone. This one took 30 minutes to get across town. Normally we can get out a lot faster and start responding.
Okay.
We just weren't able to with this one.
And also the fire station completely was torn down. As usual, I need to make sure I'm recording. Yes, I am. Okay, good.
Go slower, dude. Debris, nails. Go slower. We saw debris, but we saw houses and buildings intact.
Yeah.
I was thinking, okay, the tornado brushed
That's the storm
the north
chaser.
side of town or something like that.
This is bad.
Oh my gosh.
This is bad.
Oh my gosh. It wasn't until we got deeper into Joplin that we started to notice some pretty heavy damage.
Okay, are you talking to Kevin? What do we want? I don't know where I don't know. Walking around. I don't know.
And that's when we somehow met up with Kevin and his dad. We ended up in the same place, and I said, hey, we need to start pulling people out of the rubble.
Look at that.
Storm chasers, your hero.
That is destroyed completely.
When we first parked, we couldn't see anyone. Nobody was out walking around. Nobody was to be seen because it literally just happened. People were still trying to crawl out from the rubble.
We're gonna turn around, guys. Oh my gosh.
Well, I was definitely not mentally prepared to see what I saw, or I don't think the other guys were either. It was total devastation.
It's horrible. Imagine, just just a few hours before, people were walking around here normally, not knowing that their lives would change forever.
At some point, it was like we just kind of felt like sitting ducks. I said, well, we probably should move, and we probably should go towards where the sun is, and so we actually headed west.
Oh, just, I don't know, Missy? Or...
Got about half a block, and we saw a tree down, saw another tree down, and I remember one house there being 3 or 4 trees falling every which way, and the house was actually missed.
Whew. Oh,
so
yeah.
I remember saying, oh, they got it real bad in this part, and then as we're driving, there's a fence line, and once we crossed that fence line, it was like a bomb went off.
My God, look at that.
Oh.
The more you went west, the more it got more serious.
Can you get through that way? 20th?
I remember it just being calm, like it was all this destruction.
To me, it's strange to see they look so calm, right? Even though their house is completely ruined. I mean, look at their garage. I'm guessing you're just happy to escape with your life at that point.
But it was like eerily quiet. You could hear the alarm, like alarms going off, honking. That was the majority of the noise at that time. And the rain,
your relatives.
It was still raining. It almost looked like you hit pause. This looked like the end of the world.
See where my room is. See on the end. Right there with the bullet. Watch out for those. See where that room's gone.
Oh my God. Whoa. Everything is destroyed. Everything is destroyed. I mean, just look at the carnage.
See on the end. Right there with the bullet. Watch out for those. See where that room's gone. Right above. Right here. Look at the bus window. No, over. Right above. Fine. Well, no, that room that's above, that was my dad's room. And then the room that's completely gone, that was mine.
This is just, we're at 6:43. I think that this whole thing started at like 4 p.m. So it's very short time period this happened.
After the boys, as I call them, fanned out to try to see who they could help in the area, I'd stayed behind with the vehicles.
I cannot believe this. Oh, the lady out with a broken back. A gentleman approached me and said, there's a lady that's underneath her own wall. She can't get out, and she's really hurt. As we were talking with her, holding the wall up, she said that her back was hurting her and she couldn't sit up. So we decided to get a door that we found in the rubble and put her on the door and take her to a waiting pickup truck that was going to take people to the hospital.
I remember the man with his baby son, and the baby was bleeding really bad.
They had been in a pickup that got hit, and he asked whether we could get him to the hospital. We said sure. And
I feel this is about to get heavy. But look at this. It's just surreal. Like they said, it looks like a bomb, you know, like a nuclear bomb almost. It's just nothing's left.
So we headed out to the hospital.
Broadcasting live from the darkened KSDRG 24-hour storm center. Power is out. We are running on backup generators at this hour.
And it was like driving through a war zone, needless to say. As soon as we topped this little crest, you could see the hospital, and our hearts just sank like, oh my gosh, now what do we do?
I understand clear. I got calls from the station that the hospitals were hit earlier. I'm trying to get to that side of town. They're just people, Josh, stunned. They're standing, sobbing on the...
I think we lost Chad Elliott.
All right, commercial break. We're 12 minutes left. It's scary what it can do, right? It's just horrific. I don't wish this upon my worst enemy. Because you're so powerless. You're at the mercy of the hurricane, the tornado. You're at the mercy of nature. You can't do anything. And I'm proud to see the storm chasers. And I feel ashamed for calling them such stupid names. Like, why are you going close to them? Look at them. They're the heroes right now.
Be advised, St. John's Hospital and everything in this area has sustained very heavy damage. I repeat, very heavy damage.
Oh, so the hospital.
I copy that, yeah.
It's the hospital.
We topped the hill, and it was like a scene from a movie.
Holy.
And then
everything.
We topped
everything.
The hill, and it was like a scene from a movie. And then the hospital, on top of everything else, the hospital, the place that's supposed to heal people, had been hit. And so we're just like, what do we do now?
Oh my God, just look at it. Everything's
pull up
right when not even the hospital's working. What
by the hospital. And they already had triage units essentially on the grass.
St. John's took a direct hit from the tornado that day. We ended up sending a couple, 3 crews to that area to help the St. John's staff evacuate the building.
Walked up to the main hospital, found some fellow security guys that I was supposed to work with that night. You know, we was like, we need to get patients out of here. And, we started from the 9th floor and worked ourselves all the way down to 1. If they couldn't walk, you know, we was practically picking them up and carrying them down the stairwell.
Heroes.
No staff was lost. He was all accounted for, and patients. There was no patients lost in the hospital. That was in-house. They was all accounted for as well.
We have also heard reports that some of the debris from the hospital has reached areas like Willard. A woman was reportedly seen in x-rays in her front yard, and that just gives you a visual to how far this damage is reaching. But if you think this is bad, check out this over here. This is a neighborhood that is completely flattened by this tornado. There are dozens of people walking up and down the street trying to figure out if their loved ones are...
It was horrific. There was people yelling, looking, trying to find their loved ones. The smell of natural gas was something that I've never smelled before in that, even in all the tornado zones that I've been in. There's a whole neighborhood that surrounds the hospital.
Every different shot of it.
And you couldn't pick out one home.
Just hurts my heart.
We have sustained a major direct hit here in Joplin.
Now, Chad, you've described some damage, and we're trying to understand the situation. And as we can understand it now, Joplin will never be the same after this tornadic event.
I was on the air when the tornado hit, and just a few blocks from our station, utter devastation.
That was the one we saw before, and it's...
People were crying, really didn't know what to do. People were being hauled away in the back of pickup trucks with emergency personnel holding just pieces of these people together.
And when I was at 24th and Main, I could look all the way to the west and all the way to the east, and I saw no structure standing. And there was no end to the damage path that you could see.
Dylan. Yes. Like, I don't recognize where I'm at right now.
What happened at the parking lot? Do you mean like a garage?
We're gonna see if our car is still there.
Yeah.
But
This is the Walmart here?
yeah.
Do you need a ride somewhere?
No. I'm just gonna see if my car should be right over here.
All right, man.
Probably
Are the
not.
people still in there?
Yeah, there's some guy, he usually is a door greeter, and he's stuck under some brick.
One of the greeters was trapped in the entrance. When we actually got around to that side of the parking lot, I mean, there was no way you could go there and just start picking up huge pieces of concrete.
Can you do powerless?
You want to ride somewhere?
And I remember seeing just a guy walking like a zombie, and he had blood on his arm, and he was just not present.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go here. I don't know. I don't want to be.
Oh my God! This is the worst I've seen. I'm just looking at each and every single car because when it came to the houses, everything was ruined. But here it's so clear to see. Basically, it's one car per person. And you can count the amount of person that lives will be changed forever. Hopefully, they're all still alive and survived it.
Do you need help? Here, get in. Get in. Do you need to get in?
I can't leave. Greg's gonna come get me.
Okay, Greg's gonna come get you. Do you want to sit in the car?
In the middle of the devastation is really where you saw...
I love that they are really trying to help people.
The best of humanity come out.
People are getting help. There's people are helping. They're all throughout the parking lot.
Look at that.
Is this for real? Y'all
Okay.
need a ride?
8:17. We're moving ahead like 90 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
This must be the baseball couple, right?
When we got back in Joplin, we had to park about 11 blocks from our house.
11 blocks?
We were hearing people screaming for help, and we were basically helpless because we couldn't pull anybody out of anything. And there was this lady that came up to me, and she asked if I had seen a baby or heard a baby screaming, and she said she had lost her 13-month-old baby in the tornado, and they were looking for the baby to see if it was alive or hearing cries or anything, and we were absolutely helpless at that point. We didn't know what to say to her. I mean, we didn't hear anything, so the baby did not make it, and the baby got sucked out of her arms, like she said, and they found it, I think about a couple of miles east of our house.
Ooh. I can't imagine the pain. Like I'm almost speechless. I'm sorry that I'm not reacting a lot, but I am speechless. Such a tragic story. I do love it's so clear to see, like, the boat lift story we saw, that the American camaraderie is it just is something else. It just is something that we don't see here. It isn't. I'm sorry, it's the harsh truth for all my neighbors here.
There's a house on top of a gentleman at the 1800 block of Wall. Copy.
So maybe I missed something here.
Copy.
Oh my goodness.
And we just had to walk with our sandals on all the way down to our house. There was nothing left of our house. And it was getting dark, so we couldn't even start to salvage anything.
What can you do?
We were trying to
What's
see
the first
if anybody
step?
else needed help in search and rescue that night.
Beautiful.
Hey, we have pictures. I do not think we would be alive if we would have been in the house that evening. So I was just going through the motions at that point. I didn't know how to deal with this. I just wanted to salvage anything that I could find. Not being able to salvage anything was hard then, but
you lose
those
everything.
things just aren't important. That's just stuff. You can go buy anything at the store, but
That is true.
you can't buy a family member.
That is true.
This is
the beer cooler.
Climbed out. It was still raining. People used beer boxes down here as steps. My buddy Corey went over, and where the wall had fallen over, there was kind of a break between the roof and the wall, and we kind of just shimmied up that wall. It was not hard to get out. Behind the gas station, it was pretty much just an open field. Our car was picked up and set down kind of where the building had been. There was a cow laying there that had been like hit by debris. All right, here's the gas station that we were at. We parked right over there.
I've never seen devastation like
Our
this.
car got
I just
blown
can't
away,
lose that thought.
The
I've
front
never
door was
seen
just right
devastation.
there. No
Like this.
one was hurt in the cooler other than just minor bruises and cuts. That right there is where we climbed out.
Holy cow, they are so lucky.
All the shelving was falling down. That's about where we were laying. I do feel really lucky that for whatever reason, I didn't lose my house. I didn't lose a loved one. There's a whole lot of emotions that go into it because
survivor's guilt. It is a real thing, right?
There's so many other people in the community that were affected so much more negatively than I feel like I was.
The Joplin tornado was anywhere from a half mile to 3/4 mile wide at its widest point.
It's all gone. Everything is gone.
It was on the ground for about 13 miles. Approximately 7,500 homes were damaged. We ended up with 161 people that were deceased from the tornado.
They were still doing a rescue operation, and they were trying to retrieve bodies. And we heard the search and rescue dogs barking over and over, and I heard the dogs barking in my head for weeks when I would try to sleep.
My brother, there was absolutely nothing left of his house. He thankfully and his family lived in the basement, so it's just kind of crazy.
I finally made it up to where my home was at. It was severely damaged, but thank God my wife and daughter were still alive. But just up the street from where we lived, a lot of people had died that day.
My home was destroyed. It was in the tornado path. I found out about it, I think it was on the second day, I think it was Tuesday morning. One of my firefighters who had lived down the street from me came in and said, "Hey, Chief, I'm really sorry about your home." And I just looked at him and said, "I don't understand what you're talking about. What do you mean?" I figured it was still there and everything was good. And he said, "Chief, your home's destroyed."
There's something to be said for how much progress Joplin has made since that night. The debris is mostly cleared and
look, it's goosebumps. The community, I don't know if I'm right here, but the firefighter, if he didn't know that his house was gone, he must not have been home that whole night, just out saving people.
Are truly moving on.
We have a united focus on rebuilding the city and, coming back better than we were before.
We've learned a lot through the situation about love and kindness and just everybody coming together as a community. It's like a family.
What I'm doing now is I'm finding housing for people who lost their homes and their lives in this tornado. It kind of goes full circle where I'm still on an everyday basis in some way or another dealing with what happened.
The number of volunteers that came to the city to help is just
That's what I
absolutely
just said.
Beyond description. They're helping us move forward to our new lives and our new normal. They can't give us back our lives that we had on May 21st, because what we had before and what we knew before, it's gone. It doesn't exist, and it will never exist again, other than the memories of the citizens and the people that have lived here in their lives.
Wow. Sorry about that. What a video. Thank you for the suggestion, Greg, as always. Tragic story. And again, my heart goes out to everyone that was affected. Do you have any stories to tell? Please let me know. Write down in the comments. I would love to hear about them. And I would also love to see how or what Joplin looks like today. I think it was 2011. We're 2025 now, like 14 years later. Is it rebuilt? How are the people managing? I mean, it's so recent, so you still must bear the scars from it. So please let me know all of those things. And as usual, take care and see you soon.